Mama says she is mindful to try to avoid white-owned brands, and others also should be, about supporting Black-owned brands.
I think it starts with reclaiming the love of who we are, as we are, period. Before the hair and the makeup, before all the shoes and clothes, it starts from here. And that is forever work, And I tell us as women of color, that it's hard because we live in a society that makes it hard for us. We're not crazy. I mean, working on confidence in a society that doesn't see you and value you. And again, I'm talking about us as women of color, but women in general. If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. What does our closet look like and who's in it? Who are we supporting in it?
Right.
And I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Right.
And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice. As you mentioned, to save time, I know having a glam team, a trifecta, it feels like a luxury, but it was a time necessity. There's absolutely no way that I would be able to do my hair and makeup and have clothes ready that fit, because rare is the woman that can live off the rack. Our beauty is so powerful and so unique that it is worthy of the conversation and it's worthy of demanding the respect that we're owed for who we are and what we offer to the world. When I think about what my dad as a Black man with MS could have done, he could have never worked a day in his life. He could have collected benefits. He could have succumbed to his disease and been depressed about it, but he didn't. He never felt sorry for himself. He never expected others to do for him. And just the sheer act of him getting up every day and going to work was a statement that, now I'm going to cry, stays with me every day of my life. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about the lessons he taught us and how he is not here to see any of it. And so much of it is because of him. That is the power of what a working class Black man can do in the world, which is why I don't want any Black man out here to think that they don't have something to offer their kids.
Right.
What my dad did was beyond money, title, influence, nothing. I would trade it all for what my father provided us in that little bitty apartment on 74th and Euclid.
Community that builds wealth, they have been known to do one thing consistently, and that thing is that they have ensured that money circulates internally before they start having it circulating outward. And now we can realize that that's the ideology that has been used to make wealth compound in a certain race, in a certain generation for quite some time. And we are not supposed to be mad when Black communities start doing the same. So the question isn't whether Black communities or Black people should now start supporting Black-owned businesses. The question that we should ask ourselves rather is that should these Black people now want to take themselves from being the permanent consumers, or do they want to become stakeholders in the same economy that they also play part of it? Because the spending power of this Black dollar is close to 1.8 trillion annually, and that's a lot in spending power amongst Black communities.
Most Black people who start businesses, they do it not in a Black community. They go to another community, whether it's white or Japanese or somewhere, because they run a risk of not only their merchandise being stolen, but they got to fight with the customers, and the customers got to fight with them. They don't have good attitudes. It's evil. If someone, a Black person, wants to start a business, they should do it because they want to, and not to just cater to Black customers or anything. They should offer a service that anyone who wanted would come in and buy it. So it's not about racism, it's about the person's attitude.
If there's one thing I hate, it's when conservatives and their overfilled lips offer their thoroughly unsolicited opinions on anything fashion related. But here we are. So right now, this clip of Michelle Obama speaking to a group of black women about wanting to support designers of color is going viral on MAGA Twitter. First, MAGA purposely misinterpreted it because their media machine runs on manufactured outrage. Juvederm demons like Avery Day are saying that Michelle Obama explicitly told people not to support white designers.
Why do they hate white people so much? What a disgusting thing to say. What a racist thing to say. The Democrats are so racist. They hate white people. Because truly, imagine if I said this about black people. Like, imagine if I was like, I'm not going to buy this because it's a black designer. How about we just buy what we like? Why this hyper focus on race? It's so gross. The Democrats are everything they claim we are. Racist.
They love to play dumb and selectively forget that the reason people draw attention to minority-owned businesses is because white folks decided not to support, uplift, and amplify people of color. And they don't like that in order to circumvent the racist and oppressive system they created, structures were formed to help people get a foot in the door, like DEI, for example. And Michelle Obama here is merely encouraging people who have the means to buy luxury brands to also support independent designers of color. The problem is there are a lot of people who believe that pro-blackness is anti-whiteness because their pro-whiteness is anti-black. We wouldn't need to do all of this if we lived in a meritocracy, but unfortunately, we don't. A true meritocracy only works if the people in the positions of power who assign the merit are unbiased, which historically we have found they are not. White conservatives will then use the excuse to say it's not their fault that insert racial group here aren't worthy of opportunities, and at the same time be angry that insert racial group here are trying to circumvent their system to find success. They do not like it when you take away the keys to their perceived kingdom. And this is them still being mad that 2 black people made it to the White House and are uplifting their community, despite their best attempts to beat it down.
The conversation that you have seen has been derailed the moment they have framed it as racism. This is not actually racism, it is about self-realization. And now, that framing the whole narrative as racist is the one which is actually weakening this whole narrative. This is not about being excluded, this is about being intentional. And these people have now decided to choose themselves over others, and now they want to consume these whole things within themselves so that they can be able to have their money circulate within their community. Other groups don't circulate money internally because they are angry, because they hate each other, or they hate any other race. They do that because they understand leverage. And now, the same way black people have now started to understand leverage, and now they want to make use of this leverage so that now they can have black dollars circulating in their own community for quite some time before it leaves them, so that this money also benefits them in a certain way, in a certain manner, and help them build a stable life, which they've known to be destabilized for quite some time. So when Michelle Obama talks about being mindful in shopping, strip away the politics and also your narrative concerning where you stand when it comes to influence from the influencers and politicians, and listen to the kind of mechanic and the thought flow that she has underneath. She's not even saying, go ahead and buy this bad product. Whatever thing she's saying is that when quality exists, choose the ownership, and you should also reinvest back into your own ecosystem. And now, that is not charity, it is capital alignment. They know how, if you invest back in your community, how that will help, in settlement of those small debts, those small things which you may think they are not accounting as much, but to these communities it is much, it is a lot, because that money is going to help them boost their businesses and also have their livelihood level up, because we have known that these people have been stabilized for quite some time, from the racism and also from the slavery, all those things they underwent. These black communities did not have access to fundings, to loans, and also that made it harder for them to run businesses. And now, since they have capital, now they have access to money, And they are just saying that you should now spend this money on our community so that you can get this leverage which you've never had before. And now, when they're deciding this, your money actually gets to sleep after it leaves your hand. And this is not just about telling them to be racist, it is just telling them to be mindful of their own. And now, fashion isn't trivial, it is one of the fastest ways money moves through culture. We know that these people love designer bags, designer clothes, and some sort of culture which now is expressed through the attire, the way they dress. Now, these designers now will be able to hire locally, and manufacturers will also be able to scale up locally, and their brands will now be created downstream jobs, and a lot of people will now get employment opportunities. So when black uh, consumers dominate these kind of trends, but they don't own the products, now their value now starts to leak out, and now this becomes a misalignment, and now their community starts to weaken. Self-realization is recognizing this truth, and if your community controls culture but does not control the capital, then you are not actually entertaining others people balance sheets, because you're also making them richer, you're making them to have this power over you, and you will not be able to negotiate these um, prices in the marketplace, in the market cap. You'll not be able to control that. They'll be just forced to be by the normal price controls, which now you have no part in. And now, supporting black owned businesses and their brands, they have actually made a symbolic move. That's a corrective behavior. Now they are trying to prioritize their own people. That is actually correcting the incentives and the narrative that these black people cannot own anything. They have been oppressed for quite some time. Now they want to break that narrative and now become the shareholders also. But the other version of this conversation is that two products are equal, you know, they're in the same quality and same price, but one revisits your community and the other one does not actually visit its own community. Now, choosing the former isn't actually emotional, it is rational. So every wealth group already does this quietly. Uh, they don't get this backlash. They're not blamed when they decide to do the same. So we should also embrace the fact that these black people have also decided to help their own community. So now, money that circulates internally builds businesses, and now businesses build employment, and employment builds asset ownership. These people will be able now to be the shareholders, to be able to control ownership of those assets. And now this is how these people get to level up their wealth without asking for permissions. And this is just the truth, and that's the math which these people have decided to do. And now this is not about this race is some sort of a grievance. It is about a race that has not decided to coordinate themselves. And self-realization is understanding that consumption is power, whether you acknowledge it or not. You'll come to understand that consumers are the ones who are running this economy flow. Because if they don't spend their money, the suppliers will not get to make money, to make a living, and if these products don't reach the marketplace, then the whole cycle of system of this consumerism and the whole narrative of the marketplace will now start collapsing if these consumers don't play their own role. So you can spend unconsciously, or you can also spend like someone who is planning to own something one day. The choice is now what will determine the outcome thereafter. Let us know what you think about this conversation, this topic that you've heard today, down in the comment section below. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, you can support us by giving us a thumbs up, subscribing, and also sharing our videos